Hi, this is Daniela with Bestie Life, the podcast. And today I am so excited for you to get to meet Lana Shapiro. She is the founder of Shapiro Holistic Health and the owner of the Soul Healing Center. She's a holistic mentor and coach, as well as a practicing Reiki Master Astrologer and energy worker. She's had quite the journey, which I'm going to let her share, from the mental health field to where she is now. But definitely she provides kind of a unique classes and services to give people a sacred space where they can kind of heal their mind and body and soul. So I'm so excited for you to get to meet Lana today. Thank you so much, Lana, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat today.
And I know I glossed over so many parts of your journey as far as going from mental health to here. Can you share a little bit more about kind of what led you to how you're serving women currently?
Absolutely. So as you have mentioned, my background is in mental health. So I worked at a non-for-profit mental health agency pretty much my entire adult life. I was lucky enough to get a job right out of college, and I've always been a healer at heart. I always knew that my passion was just to help people. And as I was, going through working at the agency, I always felt like there were some pieces missing in terms of how we were able to provide treatment to people. And what I was seeing often is this revolving door where people would come in and they would feel better and they would leave, and then they would just keep coming back. So it always felt like there was just something missing. There was a disconnection, and I almost felt very limited in terms of what I can actually offer people. And that is when the idea of holistic therapy kind of came into my mind. And that is what I initially wanted to do. So as I was kind of going through my journey of figuring out the next step in my career, holistic mental health counseling was what came to mind. And I put in my notice at work gradually. And then I rented an office and I started offering these sessions. So I kind of had this momentum of wanting to go all in. And then COVID happened. So I really had to pivot everything. And right along the lines of, everything kind of happening around the same time, I became a mom during that transition as well. And I had my son, who was my second child. And I went through my own experience of postpartum, more so anxiety than depression, I would say, looking back on it. And when I reached out to my doctor to get help, the first thing that was offered to me was medications. And I was kind of like, okay, that's not really what I'm looking for. So I started looking into my own holistic ways of managing these changes that I was going through at the time personally. And what I found was that the more I moved and the more I kept my body physically active, the better I felt. So I really went into the direction of physical fitness, and I became a fitness instructor. I just really kind of felt so much better from moving my body. And then I started eating healthier. So I was like, okay, so there's something to that. I just kind of started making my own connections between physical health and mental health. And I became certified as a health and nutrition coach. So then I started incorporating that into my practice as well. And then during COVID as well, I went through my own spiritual transformation, and I started working with an intuitive coach because I really wanted to just dig deeper and really find out what my purpose is in this world. So that's when the spiritual aspect came in as well. So I had to kind of take a step back and say, okay, I'm not really offering mental health counseling anymore. I'm really offering more of this life coaching package, right? Where we kind of look at everything and really help women connect those dots for this overall wellness. So that's when I shifted my practice into holistic life coaching, which is what I offer to women now. And in May of 2022, I opened the doors to Soul Healing Center because I really wanted to have the space where I can offer people really a place that they can come and receive services that they might not find anywhere else. So I really just wanted to create this unique space where people can feel safe and feel like they're not being judged for the things that they want to explore, because my passion right now is really to help people with the spiritual aspect of their wellness.
Yeah, no, and thank you for sharing all of that, because I know, just even going back to when you talked about your postpartum anxiety, I had another guest on probably about a year or so ago who spoke about the fact that, everybody talks about postpartum depression, but nobody talks about postpartum anxiety, but it's still very present. I think so many women experience it, and without hearing anybody else talk about it and share those experiences, they think it's just them, or like your doctor went straight to medications, and that there's no other options. There's no other routes, which is why I love having so many different women on this show, because I think there are so many different ways to approach what can be a very not common necessarily thing we're going through, but obviously a shared experience that many of us more are going through than we even realize. And to be able to know that there's options, through healthy eating, healthy movement, healthy, in personal development, to kind of move beyond some of the different things we're experiencing in our life. And I love how you've brought them all together in your coaching, in your wellness center, which is so fantastic.
Absolutely. And that's why, I'm one of those people now that I love going into work, because I just love the experience that my clients are getting from, they come in through the doors and they might be feeling anxious or not knowing what to expect. And one of the things that I hear pretty much every time somebody new comes in through my doors is, I really like the vibe here. I really feel light here. And that's really what I want people to walk away with. I want them to walking away feeling lighter than they walked in.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely if you are in the Western New York area, that's where Lana's studio is located. You could definitely meet with her. But I think you do the life coaching online then as well, correct?
I do, yes. Life coaching. I also have several virtual courses. So I do offer workshops and classes at the center, but then I try to convert them into virtual ones as well, so that I can offer them to more people who are not local.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. And I know sometimes, I don't know if you've experienced this, being a social worker, I do all these things professionally, and sometimes what I do personally can look very different, or I have to be more intentional about it. How do you take care of yourself, Lana? Because I think when we're givers and we help other people, it's so important to remember to take care of ourselves too.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I ran into when I was working as a therapist, is that I was bringing a lot of my work home and I was feeling really burnt out, and I really didn't know how to take care of myself, which is why I started working on my own healing and personal development, is because I am really good at telling other people how to take care of themselves and telling others what to do. But I wasn't applying it to myself. And that really needed to change for me. That was a really big shift for me. So right now, I definitely changed my mindset around it, that it's not selfish to take care of myself, that it's necessary. It makes me a better mom, better wife. It just makes me better overall. So one of the things that's really not negotiable for me, and I've been doing it for over a year now, is that I wake up an hour before everybody else in my household wakes up, even on weekends, and I take this hour to do my self-care routine. And that looks like I make a cup of coffee. I kind of make it into a ritual almost, where I have my coffee. I do a short meditation. I'll usually do like a sound healing meditation that I'll set on the background. And then I will do my gratitude list. And I typically journal about, I'll do my daily mantra for the day, and top 3 things that I want to accomplish
today. So that's kind of my self-care routine in the morning. And then, I try to throw in those things like going for a massage and, getting hair and nails done, because I think those are important as well, is that it's important to spoil yourself and splurge on yourself and not feel guilty about it.
Absolutely. And I love everything you're saying. I probably do half of the same things as well. And I love just how aligned it is with everything that I've talked about and that you've talked about. The sound healing, I recently was able to experience a live sound bath versus like some of the sound healing things I've done online. I don't know if you've done that, but what an amazing difference to be in the room with the bowls and have them physically feel like they're vibrating through you. I don't know if you've experienced that. Isn't that fantastic?
That is one of the things that I offer at the center is I partner with a local sound healer, and we do a combination of sound healing and Reiki.
Yeah, definitely. Like a lot of these things you might have heard me talk about or other guests talk about. Definitely, if you have the opportunity locally to experience some of these different things, even if you've done them online, such different kind of feelings and experiences doing them live. I can't, promote that enough.
Yes, absolutely. If you've never tried it, look it up. I bet you can find it in your area.
Absolutely. And when you talked about gratitude and the journaling, I know I always talk about gratitude as a part of our daily self-care. So I love that you incorporate as part of yours. That's actually how I started. Part of my journey was, just writing 3 things down daily that I was grateful for. And it can be so powerful just from that simple little action. What would you say are some of the things that you would, say you're most grateful for?
I am definitely grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my kids every day. I'm grateful for my husband, who doesn't necessarily get or understand everything that I'm doing, but he's very supportive. So I'm grateful for the work that I get to do every day and the difference that I get to make. Those are the big things that I'm grateful for. But at the same time, when I make my gratitude list, I also try to focus on the little things. So as I go through my day, if I notice something, I'll kind of take a mental note of it and say, oh, I have to put that on my list tomorrow, just so that I can kind of go back and remind myself that that it's really, the big things are great, but I think it's those little things that make us really stop and be more mindful throughout the day.
Absolutely. And I love that you mentioned too, sometimes the people in our family and our home don't always get what we're doing. Why do you need to go take that class? Why do you need to do this? And to know that you can have somebody who's supportive, even if they don't totally understand it, right? But how do you help if someone came to you and said, how do I help explain this to my partner or help them to be more supportive, even if they don't understand it? Do you have any tips or strategies to offer?
I would say my biggest tip on that is to go back to how this one thing that you are passionate about, that you want to do, how it makes you feel and how it makes a difference in your well-being. So this way they don't necessarily need to understand the thing that you're doing, but they can tell a difference in how you look, how you feel, how you treat everybody around you when you are able to do this thing that you're feeling passionate about.
I love that. By focusing on how you feel, it's nothing they can get defensive as if it's something that they're not meeting for you or providing and that type of thing. So that's a great suggestion. Thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where can people find you? How can they work with you either in person or virtually?
I am all over social media. So I am on Facebook and Instagram. It's Soul Healing Center. My website is shapiroholistichealth.com. And everything is linked to the center on my website as well. So I'm on Google. Try to make it easy and consistent.
And all those links will be live in the show notes below. But thank you so much, Lana, for just sharing a little bit more about just a different way to approach some of the things you might be experiencing, feeling, going through, that there isn't just one way. And it doesn't probably have to be done in isolation from traditional medicine, but by combining different options, you can find that thing that lights you up, that brings you the most health and happiness.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that people mistaken when they hear the word holistic is that holistic means anti-Western medicine, but holistic is really about finding that balance and really finding what works for you personally, because what works for one person may not necessarily work for the other person.
Absolutely. And that by combining things, you can get the best of both worlds for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Lana. It was so great to chat with you today.
Thanks so much for having me.